Sweet. How's everyone doing? Sweet. Everyone's spring break? Spring break for everyone? Anyone right now? No? When is spring break? Next week? Sweet. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I know right now school's probably stressful, probably getting some tests done before the break, getting some assignments turned in, family stuff, so I know life can be stressful sometimes. I say this a lot when I talk beforehand. This is an environment where we can just kind of like put that aside, let that go for a bit. This is first song, it's one we all know, it's Reckless Love. I know it's one you guys like, it's one I like a lot. When we see this, don't just sing it as a song. We're singing a song about a reckless God whose love we don't deserve, but we get it anyway.
Amen.
In light of the Easter holiday coming up, don't just treat this like an event that's happening or a song we're singing just because. Sing this like we're singing to the God whose love we don't deserve tonight. So let's worship. Woo.
actually, so pretty close to where we are. This is Matthew 26. And when Jesus was in Bithynia, in the house of Simon the leper, a woman drew near to him, holding an alabaster box of precious ointment, and she poured it over his head while he was reclining at table. But the disciples, seeing this, were indignant, saying, "What is the purpose of this waste? For this could have been sold for a great deal, so as to be given to the poor." But Jesus, knowing this, said to them, "Why are you bothering this woman? Sure, she has done a good deed to me. For the poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me." And I think that we're all kind of poor in some way. We're all lacking stuff, but God makes up for it. And this song is about how pretty much in the end, at the end of times, when Jesus comes back, all the poor, all the powerless, everyone is going to give him glory because he's owed glory. He's God and he created us, and so I guess just keep that in mind while you listen to this.
tell you guys, if you have something that's on your heart to share, to write it down, and you can straight to the side, and come see me, and I'll give you my microphone. It's not my microphone, it's God's microphone. You guys can speak to each other with a lot more clarity and with a voice that I can't. You guys hear each other better than you hear me, whether you recognize it or not. So I say that to say this. My buddy Matt List has a word to bring. All right. So I'm going to pray real quick, and then Matt's going to come share with you guys what's on his heart. God, I just thank you for tonight. Thank you, Lord, for your goodness. God, I thank you for worship, and Lord, for knowing, God, we can't brag on you enough. There's no way we could exaggerate you, God. You're so good. I pray for Matt as he comes now, God, that you just give him clarity, that you'd speak very clearly the things that you're teaching him, and that we'd be receptive. God, thank you for Matt's boldness. And Lord, I pray that we would take away goodness and truth that would make us more like you in your name. Amen. So Matt, it's your show, buddy. You want the mic on stand, or you want? Absolutely.
You can do it.
Hello? Okay, is this working?
Yeah.
Alright, sweet. First half the battle right there. How about the worship band though? You guys give a hand on that. I don't know, maybe I'm just corny, but hearing everybody say hallelujah makes my hair stand on end.
Hallelujah.
Hey, you guys are getting the hang of it. Alright. So how's everybody doing today?
I'm okay.
Alright.
It's okay. Wonderful.
So it kind of occurred to me that not a whole lot of you know me. I'm sort of kind of quiet. So for like maybe half a minute, I'm just gonna say a couple of things about me. I love Jesus and I love band. I play the saxophone. I'm pretty sure that's it. Am I missing anything? Okay. Jesus and saxophone, that's really all I worry about. So the past few months actually, it's been pretty great watching God work. I mean, I recently started actually paying attention to that, and it's crazy once you start paying attention how much you see God working. Does anybody else realize that? Yeah. Like, it's crazy how much He works, and we don't usually pay attention to it. Usually we're just like, oh, that happens, and that's neat, but we don't realize that every little thing that happens is from God. And so, I want to share the story of the past 6-7 months. It sounds like a lot, but it's really a short event that happened 7 months ago, but it's still carrying weight. So, the big picture though, the big thing that God has been screaming at me for the past 7 months is to just stop worrying. And I took that message head on, and I'm thinking about it. I'm working on it. And once you stop worrying, I can tell you right here, right now, that you feel unstoppable. At least I know I do. I mean, it's amazing once you stop worrying about all these little things and you can focus on God instead. It's awesome. So, we always know that God's working in the bad times of our lives, right? Right? Yeah. What about the good times too? If you were there for the first service a few Sundays ago, the choir sang the song "You Are God Alone," and there's a line that says, "And right now, in the good times and bad, you are on your throne. You are God alone." The good times and the bad times. It's not just the bad times where He's a rope to hang on to. He's there as a friend right next to us in the good times too. He's working through us, no matter where we are. And, however, in the good times, we still do worry a lot. The test, the drama, life. It's not easy to just sort of kind of let it go, right? So, I just want to clarify before I get started that this is not going to be me standing up here saying, look at how awesome my life has been. I want this story to be something that can reflect God. I'm not here to brag. Not at all. That's the last thing I want to take with me. So this story starts about 7 months ago during homecoming season. I'm a rather antisocial kind of guy, and I never really thought of doing a dance. I never really saw the appeal of it. Oh, you go, you walk around, shove out, and I can't dance either, so that might be part of the issue. Like, I cannot dance. I literally have no left feet. There's just little stumps. So, great, I got y'all laughing. Great, that's good. So, I finally started thinking about it because I started thinking that I wanted to ask this one person, this one girl, and I got it in my head, and it was, So, I started praying a lot. I prayed and prayed and prayed because I was worried, because I've never done anything like this. I mean, right? I was worried, absolutely worried. And those are not two random people, those are my parents. Hi. So, I started praying a lot, and I just prayed for an opportunity. I just wanted a time, just something that God's basically saying, yeah, you can do it right now. And I'll be, but He gave me that. So, the person I ended up asking, we had 2 classes together on this one day. The second class was a very fun class called Dual Enrollment Pre-Calculus. Yeah, y'all are excited, right? Yeah, it's terrible. Trigonometry is annoying. So, at the end of our class, our teacher, she gives us these things she calls little quizzes, just a small quiz to make sure we retain the information. Usually, it's a simple thing. You just fill it out, you walk out the door when the bell rings. This one was a little bit more difficult to certain people. And so the only 2 people that walked out of that room were myself and the person that I wanted to ask. If that is not the opportunity I was looking for, I don't know what is. So I asked, I got a yes, and I was awkward again. It's the story! I don't even know what it is. Okay, so I was of course awkward, but there was plenty of people to be awkward with. So I did have fun though, because I mean, I can have fun while not looking like I have fun. That's a thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I feel validated now. So after homecoming, I really did like this girl, and I got in my head that this is gonna happen. And so I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna ask her out. And so I asked her, and she said no. But you notice how I'm still smiling, right? Okay. God works in such crazy ways. So about 2-3 weeks after the fact, the exact same person came to me and said, hey, I know this one person who feels a certain way about you. You guys know what I'm getting at. And so the way that God works is crazy. And so I asked that person out after praying even more than I did last time. And here I am now with that person. I mean, they're not here because they got things to do. And y'all are awesome, by the way. I feel great. Okay, so that's the story there. And it's still going. God is still showing me that there's things that I have no clue what's going to happen. And all I need to do is trust in Him. And it's kind of hard to do that, right? But good thing we've got the Bible, because that tells us exactly what to do, right? Okay, so I gave somebody Matthew 6:34. Could you stand up and read, please?
Yeah. Therefore, don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own.
Alright, there you go. Nice. So, this verse lays it out just plain and simple. Tomorrow is tomorrow, and today is today. Leave tomorrow for tomorrow. God will sort it out. It'll all happen the way it has to. Today is today. You can worry about that. Stop worrying about tomorrow. Stop worrying about the week after. Stop worrying about the month after. Stop worrying about the year after. God makes these things happen. He makes things happen because He loves us and because He cares for us. And because of that, He makes sure that we're safe. He makes sure that we keep on going in the direction that He wants us to go in. And that direction is pretty neat if you ask me. because all of God's plans so far have turned out way better than my own plans. And so, this is good. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. But what about today? There's still so much stuff today, right? That's where another verse comes in. If the person who I asked to read 1 Peter 5:7 can stand up and read, that'd be great.
Cast all your cares on him because he cares about you.
See, that wasn't so bad, was it? Here we go. Alright, so that's simple. Who do we have to leave our worries up to for today? Friends, family, girlfriend, boyfriend. These are alright options, but they give temporary fixes. They're temporary. As much as I love you two, you're temporary. I didn't know how to work that in. Alright, so everything we've got here that we can use is temporary. The only permanent fix that we have is God. And the best part about that is that He is always ready. He's never asleep. His phone's never charging. He never runs out of battery. He's never off duty. He is there. He's there, and we can trust Him. We can pray. We can dump every anxiety on Him. I mean, it's a great feeling, really. Sorry, I didn't know how this worked. I forgot how it worked, more like. So, it's made obvious that the only one that we can trust on is God. Why is this? And I said before, God is love. God loves us so much, He will steer us in the right direction, no matter how much we go aside, no matter how much we drift, no matter how much we turn our eyes from Him. He always has His eyes on us, each and every one of us, at every moment of every day. You're never going to have a time where you'll come to God and He's like, oh, sorry, I was distracted yesterday. What happened yesterday? I totally missed it. That's never going to happen. You pray to God, and yes, He knows everything. He knows how it's going to work out. He knows what happened and exactly how you need to fix it. And He will steer you in that right direction. He will steer you in the best direction. It might not be the direction that we want, but it's the direction that we need. I always used to think of that verse as a throwaway verse when I was in Sunday school, when I was in elementary school. It's like, oh, well, what I want is what I need. No, it's not. God always gives us what we need, what He knows we need, and He knows more than anyone what we need, because He knows our past, our present, and our future. I mean, the cross showed that. And so, I want to make one really neat connection. If God is love, that verse that says that God is love, we know that, right? What about the verse that says love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, hopes, bears, endures all things? Well, if God is love, that applies to Him. God is patient, God is kind, God hopes, bears, endures all things. He is patient. He acts when He needs to act. He acts when acting is necessary, when it is best. It's a wonderful thing looking at God's timing versus our own. We like to look at our own timing as the timing that, oh, I know that this needs to happen tomorrow. I know that this needs to happen tomorrow. And nothing can convince me otherwise. And it doesn't happen tomorrow. So like, okay, fine. It'll happen the day after. And then it'll happen the day after. And then you eventually sort of kind of forget about it. And then God's like, oh, remember that thing you said would happen tomorrow? It's happening now. Congratulations. God works on His own time because that's what's best for us. I want to make one more connection to another story. It's a really quick one, and it's nowhere near as exciting, I think, but y'all defied expectations. So, I want to make one other quick story. So, my brother just recently got engaged. And we were working, my mother, mainly, I say we, she did everything, she's my kid. she planned out an engagement party. And one of the games that we were going to have there was a Count the Hershey Kisses game. Sounds nice. It's a Hershey Kisses in a jar, and you just have to guess how many. You have to guess how many are in the jar, and if you guess, whoever guesses closest would get the jar. And so my job was to count the number of Hershey's Kisses in the jar. And so, okay, I can do that. But first, I wanted to calculate the number using math because I am a nerd. Am I right? Like, am I right? Yeah, I'm a nerd. And so I actually kind of had fun with this. I figured out that it was a gallon container, and so it was 378.541 centiliters. And found the volume of a single Hershey's Kiss by somebody else who actually figured out the volume of a Hershey's Kiss to 2.681 cubic centimeters. And because 1 cubic centimeter is a centiliter, I was ready to go. And so I calculated it and I figured out that the number of kisses in the jar should be about 141 minus a little bit because of the empty space. The actual number was 569. Yeah. I was only a bit off, right? I just rounded wrong. I was about like 400 off. And the reality was different than what I expected. The reality of God is different than what we expect, usually. We expect this is going to happen exactly how it's going to happen because I say so. And then God says, well, you're wrong. He says, this is my plan, and it's better. I'm not just saying that I think it's better or I say it's better. I know it's better. God knows more about us than we know about ourselves. Therefore, He knows what we need more than we know what we need. I had to learn to let God take control. I had to learn to surrender my own decisions. I had to learn to say to God, I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to go along the plan that I had set, or I don't know if it's going to be so far off I could never even have thought of this. But I don't know which way it's going to go, but at least I know the one who does know. At least I know the one person who does know how it's going to go. At least I know the one person who orchestrated it that way, who organized it so that it goes the right way. My plans, and I do make a lot because I'm kind of type A OCD about that kind of stuff. I make my plans saying this is how it's going to work. And I know it's going to work because that's the best way. God says no, it is not. God says this way is the best way instead of that way, which was complete 180 down. That would be 90 degrees. Never mind. I told you that trigonometry is annoying.
It's cool.
Oh, okay. Want to do my trig homework? God says one thing and we sometimes say another. And we want to believe that our way is better. A lot of the time it's not. A lot of the times God's way is better because He knows more and because He cares. Because He cares about us in such a way that He will steer us along the way that we need to go. Big takeaway. God has always got us. I mean, I bet everybody in this room can name at least one time where God had them covered. And if you can't, then oh boy, you best be looking. God's got us covered in ways that we can't even comprehend because there are ways so far in advance, so far down the road that they're not even a blip on our radar. They're fact. Fact. This is going to happen because it's how I orchestrated it. So we can trust in Him. We can trust that we can give Him our worries and our fears, our plans, our concerns, because God will do a way better job than we ever could with the resources given to us. Because He has such vast knowledge about what's going to happen that our knowledge looks like my 3rd grade teacher's library versus the library of, what's a big library? Congress, yeah. Versus the Library of Congress. That is His vast knowledge versus my very narrow knowledge. Let God take your worries, your fears, your concerns, your drama, your anxiousness, your anxiety, your crazy thoughts, your crazy plans, your simple plans. It'll free you to let God put something back in that is so much better than what we have planned. God can come right back in and fill us up with all this stuff we just emptied out to Him, and He'll fill it back up with good. The kind of good that glorifies God. The kind of good that puts us back on the track where we should have been. Thank you all for listening.
So I thought Matt and I were co-teaching, but what do I need to say after that? No, seriously, that was all the notes about what he said that I wanted to say. He covered all of it. This is the cool thing about what just happened. It goes right back to what we've been talking about these last few weeks. Community, exhorting one another. Matt stood up here and he told you guys, I've tried it. I've submitted to God, and these are the results. You guys need to do that every day for each other. And when you're struggling, go to each other and say, I'm struggling. Help me out here, man. Remind me of God's goodness. Take me back to the Word. Let's find answers together. Matt, thank you for your boldness, man. Give it up for Matt again. Talk on community for 2 more seconds. I know Matt's a part of a really solid Connect group that meets right in this area on Sunday mornings. He has dudes that do life with him. He has teachers and older men that pour back into his life. You guys watch Gabe Herod speak truth to you guys. You watch Chris Lando speak truth to you guys. That's what it's about. It's about unity. It's about community. Dovetailing right off of that, here's what's going to happen next. Ladies, you went away to girls' retreat, to the Known Conference. Unity was the theme. Unity was the theme. Community was the theme. So let's segue right back in, and I think some ladies want to share about that experience.
Matt, by the way, where's Matt? Here we go. Oh, you said you weren't going to brag. You did a ton of bragging.
It was about Jesus, though.
You bragged on God, so that was really awesome. And the ladies that are coming up, go ahead and come up this way. We're going to share. But you gave yourself a label, called yourself a nerd here, and we talked about a girls' retreat. We relabeled ourselves. We are beloved. We are loved. We are forgiven. Because, so anyways, your new label. So, I'll let them go ahead and share. Okay.
Okay, hi. So as you know, this class week around him, and two biggest things I learned was A, it's okay to be disappointed. Like your plan, like Matt was saying, it doesn't go like the way you're thinking it should, but God's plan is it's okay to be disappointed, but don't put up walls or be like, oh my gosh, God, you're not doing anything for me. Just be open to what He has for you, but let that emotion, just work through the emotion. Don't cover and everything and let it fester. And also another big thing, I know this impacted Jessica a lot too, it's okay, God can be strong for us, we don't have to be strong for Him. So if we're going through a rough time, don't be okay, I got this, don't hold them in tears, cry to God, cry out Abba, and just let the tears fall. It is okay because He is there to comfort you. And sorry, I'm not crying, this is very sick. And He can comfort you better than anyone else ever can. So yeah.
I really got from this weekend is kind of what she was saying, that we don't always have to be strong. We can be weak. We can not have to always put on the brave, happy face for everybody. It's okay to not be okay. That's like really cliche, but and also like what Emily was saying, the speaker, and what Brooke was saying is that you are worth it. Like in God's eyes, just because you might not think that you're worth it down here, just because you don't feel like you're worth it on earth, you will always be so worth it in God's eyes up in heaven. He always has you.
Okay, so kind of tailing off of what she said, one thing that really impacted me that Emily said was we are not worthy, and we're not even close to being worthy, but we are worth it, and that shows, like, as Jesus died on the cross for us, he died for us, he died for me, he died for you. So that just plays into the fact, like, don't ever think that you're worthless because you are not in God's eye.
Alright, so being this is my last girls retreat, sad, yeah. So it was a bittersweet weekend, but it was fun because it was so different from past girls retreat, and one of the things that we really focused in on, and Jesse talked about it, was community and unity and being known by God. And guys, community is so important as believers because we can't do life alone. And we need each other to lean on and to talk to and to keep each other accountable. And guys, one thing I urge you, I speak on behalf of all the girls and all the female leaders, you should come down here and feel loved and not feel judged. We should come down here and forget everything that's going on in the outside world, and we should be there for each other, guys. Because it is so important as believers to have that community and unity together, because that's what Christ wants for us. And he wants us to be in community with each other so the outside world can see that and be like, hey, what's that I don't have? I want that. And so that's one thing I urge you guys that I took away from this weekend that I hope you guys can learn from. And I'm like, guys, your retreat's coming up, and go to that, please. At least go 1 year, because you guys need to experience what we did, and it was so powerful. I know we did low ropes courses, and we were all split up, so some of us were away from our friends, so we were forced to talk to people that we didn't know, and so we did low ropes courses, and we had it one night. We had a late night dance party, guys. I know it's not your cup of tea, but we did, and it was pretty awesome. And then we had a time of prayer and worship, and we just prayed over each other, and we just poured out our hearts to each other, because being vulnerable with each other is so important. Because like these ladies said, you don't have to be that strong Christian, that strong person all the time. It's okay to not be okay. So I encourage you guys to come out here and to just fellowship with each other and be real with each other.
So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna have the ladies. You guys don't have to do anything necessarily, but we're gonna pray over you guys. So I'm gonna open us in prayer, and then you guys can stand up or sit down. Are we passing the mic? What? Okay, so if you pray, just try to pray as loudly. So I'm just going to open this in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much, God, for this church, God. Thank you for the community that we just learned about, God, and how we're able to take it back here, God. Lord, I just pray specifically for the guys as they go on guys retreat, Lord. I pray that you would just move throughout that weekend, God, and that you would just show them what community looks like, Lord, and what not only out in the world, but it looks like with God, especially in church. But God, I pray that if there's anyone who's considering maybe not going, Lord, that you would just speak to them, maybe through Jesse or maybe through a friend, Lord, that you would just pull up their heart, Lord, that this is something that they should be at, Lord. God, I pray that they would feel encouraged to invite friends, Lord. And I pray that that when they go out, they would just learn more about you, God, and how to create a better community, Lord, to bring back the spots with God. And in your name.